Hey everybody, Adam from Golf Unfiltered here, and today I am going to try to build a golf club. Alright everyone, here's what we got going on today. So I am downstairs in my little work area that's slowly becoming a club lab. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this driver head off of this shaft and put it on a new shaft. Here. From UST Mamiya, we got the new V2, and so I've never done this before, and I've got a lot of help with this. I've got a lot of videos to watch, but I'm going to take you through what I'm doing based on what I've been told and based on what's been recommended to me. So stay tuned. Okay, so now I've got a good mess going on, but I've got the tip, I've got the ferrule. Let me see if I can get this a little bit better. I've got the tip, I've got the ferrule on the shaft now, and I need to clean up some of that excess epoxy there so it doesn't look like a complete amateur did it, even though I'm a complete amateur doing this. Now I've also been told that you want to actually have the adapter set on the shaft close to where you would normally want the loft if it's an adjustable shaft. So I believe I've done that as best I could, but we'll see how things end up. Okay, so just to recap what I've done so far is I went ahead and I sanded the tip of the new shaft with 100 grit fine sandpaper. That was what was recommended to me. And I was able to just take a little bit of the paint off the shaft because, as I understand it, the epoxy needs a little bit something more to bond onto than the super glossy painted golf shaft, which is why you do that. Thanks to my friends over at Cleveland and Srixon, they went ahead and they sent me a ferrule, which is at the bottom of this adapter here, as well as the adapter itself. And this is specific for the Srixon heads. And so, again, this is the first time I'm doing this, and so I'm sure, as you saw, pretty hesitant to start roughing up a nice shaft like this, but hopefully it's going to be able to set pretty well. The next part of the whole process is, because this shaft is not actually cut to length, I have to do that now. And so I'm going to go ahead and measure the golf shaft as to where I need it, and then I'm going to make that cut using something that's called a rod saw, which is basically a hacksaw, but it's got a very specific blade, which I guess you could call it a blade. It's more of a corrosive rod, hence the name. And so that's what I'm going to do next. Okay, so what we did there is we actually put the driver head, and I could tell that the epoxy's not set yet, but we put my driver head on the shaft, the new shaft on the new adapter, and I wanted to measure it to length. And so what you saw is I was actually holding a tape measure behind the golf club. And so that's a very important thing to do, I learned, in order to measure it correctly. And I didn't have a yardstick available, so you can just use a tape measure. It just kind of makes it a little bit more fun, I guess. And so then what I also did is I marked on the shaft, measuring it out where I needed to, with just a Sharpie. And so what I'll be doing now is using that rod saw to cut it. See, it's all done. All done. Okay, so I just made my cut, and what I'm noticing is as much as I tried to keep it steady, I actually do not have a very even cut. And that's entirely my fault. I just was kind of all over the place, as you saw, and my dog definitely did not like the noise. You can probably hear him still barking. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to take some sandpaper. I'm going to sand that down just a little bit to make sure that it's even and straight and not so jagged. We don't want that. Okay, well, I've sanded a little bit, and my dog is still trying to get this golf shaft out of my hand. So I've made it a little bit more clean. You can see there's a little bit of I don't know what that is, fuzz or something. It's not entirely 100% straight, but it's definitely less jagged than it was. And so the next step really is just to throw some grip tape on here and a new grip. Alright everyone, well, as you saw, we just got a grip on the shaft now, and so it was really interesting too, because when I was putting the grip on, you probably saw that I was struggling a little bit. I don't think this shaft is as thin as some of the other golf shafts I've used before. It's definitely not very tapered. I mean, it is towards the end of the, towards the tip, but maybe I just didn't have enough solution on there, who knows, but I got the grip on there. And so now really the next thing is to just let this sit for a little bit for the epoxy to dry, put the club head on it, hit it, hope the club head doesn't fall off. So thanks for watching. I'll let you know what happens.